Hi guys, welcome to another video from Little Too Simple. Imagine this, it's the 1980s in India, and Campa Cola is a household name, the drink you reach for at every party, celebration, and family outing. Then, like a bubble bursting, it all vanishes. Decades later, Reliance, India's business powerhouse, steps in, ready to revive this nostalgic favorite. Can Campa Cola make a roaring comeback and take on giants like Coca-Cola and Pepsi? Stick around to find out how this underdog story might just reshape the Indian beverage market. To understand why Campa Cola's comeback is so significant, let's rewind to the 1970s and 80s. Campa Cola was born out of necessity. After Coca-Cola exited India in 1977 due to regulatory hurdles, a vacuum was left in the beverage market. Campa Cola, an entirely Indian brand, rose to the occasion. With its tagline "The Great Indian Taste," Campa Cola captured the hearts and taste buds of millions. It wasn't just a drink, it was a cultural phenomenon. It symbolized the spirit of Indian innovation and independence. Families loved it, teenagers flaunted it, and parties were incomplete without it. Campa Cola wasn't just a beverage, it was an emotion. But, as the saying goes, all good things come to an end. When Coca-Cola and Pepsi re-entered the Indian market in the 1990s with their massive global machinery, flashy marketing campaigns, and deep pockets, Campa Cola couldn't keep up. By the early 2000s, it had all but disappeared. It seemed like the story of Campa Cola had ended. Or had it? Fast forward to 2022. Reliance Industries, led by Mukesh Ambani, announces that they are acquiring the rights to Campa Cola. The announcement sent ripples through the industry. But why would Reliance, a company known for telecom, retail, and energy, suddenly step into the beverage market? Here's where it gets interesting. Reliance doesn't just buy brands, they disrupt industries. Remember how Jio revolutionized telecom? Could Campa Cola be their next big disruption? Reliance launched Campa Cola in September 2023 in 3 flavors: cola, lemon, and orange. Their strategy? Start small. Focus on key regions and leverage their massive Reliance retail network, which includes over 18,000 outlets and a dominant position in e-commerce through Jio Mart. And let's not forget the pricing strategy. At 10 rupees for a 200 milliliters bottle, Campa Cola is positioning itself as the budget-friendly alternative to Coca-Cola and Pepsi. This affordability could prove to be a game changer, especially in a price-sensitive market like India. But it's not just about price. Reliance has understood the need for local appeal. By leveraging regional festivals and culturally significant moments, they are ensuring Campa Cola resonates with every segment of Indian society. What makes Campa Cola's comeback unique is Reliance's multi-pronged approach. They aren't just selling nostalgia, they're building a modern beverage brand. Let's break it down. First, distribution. Reliance has unparalleled reach. Through its retail outlets, Jio Mart, and partnerships with Kirana stores, Campa Cola is ensuring it's available everywhere from your neighborhood shop to your doorstep. Reliance's extensive logistics network allows them to stock even remote areas, making sure Campa Cola isn't just a city phenomenon. Second, pricing. By keeping prices low, Campa Cola is making its drinks accessible to the masses, particularly in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities where affordability is key. This strategy doesn't just appeal to consumers, it puts pressure on competitors who may struggle to match such aggressive pricing. But here's the masterstroke. Reliance isn't just targeting consumers. They're going after India's booming food service sector. Imagine Campa Cola becoming the default drink at restaurants, food courts, and even movie theaters. The potential is enormous, especially when you consider India's burgeoning eating out culture. Third, marketing. Reliance is leveraging nostalgia with the older generation while using fresh, youthful branding to attract Gen Z and millennials. Social media campaigns, influencer marketing, and regional partnerships are all part of the mix. They've even hinted at collaborations with Bollywood, cricket, and other cultural touchpoints that define Indian identity. And let's not overlook Reliance's tech edge. With Jio's data insights, they can analyze consumer preferences in real time and adapt their strategies. This kind of tech-driven marketing is something the old Campa Cola could never have imagined. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Can Campa Cola realistically compete with Coca-Cola and Pepsi? These global giants have decades of experience, established supply chains, and deep pockets for marketing. The short answer is yes, and here's why. First, consumer preferences are shifting. There's a growing demand for made-in-India brands, and Campa Cola fits the bill perfectly. With increasing awareness about supporting local products, Campa Cola's Indian identity is a major advantage. Second, Reliance's scale. Few companies can match Reliance's ability to operate at scale. With their resources and distribution capabilities, they can ensure Campa Cola reaches even the remotest corners of India. This is something even global giants find challenging in India's diverse market. Third, innovation. Rumors are already swirling about Reliance launching more flavors and even health-focused beverages under the Campa Cola brand. Imagine Campa Cola expanding into sparkling water, energy drinks, or sugar-free sodas. The possibilities are endless, and it shows that Reliance is thinking beyond just competing, they're aiming to dominate. And here's the kicker. Reliance has the patience and the capital to play the long game. While Coca-Cola and Pepsi rely heavily on existing brand loyalty, Reliance is building something fresh, and that freshness can be a powerful draw. To understand why Campa Cola has better odds at success, let's look at why similar attempts like Mecca Cola failed. Mecca Cola, launched in the early 2000s, was positioned as a politically driven alternative to global cola brands. While it garnered initial attention, it failed to establish a loyal customer base because it relied too heavily on an ideological pitch without addressing the basics of taste, pricing, and distribution. Campa Cola, on the other hand, is focused on building a strong product first. By ensuring affordability, wide availability, and appealing to Indian nostalgia, it is playing a very different and smarter game. Reliance's emphasis on leveraging their retail and supply chain ecosystem gives Campa Cola an edge that brands like Mecca Cola simply didn't have. Additionally, Mecca Cola's limited focus and lack of consistent marketing led to its downfall. Campa Cola, backed by Reliance, is avoiding those pitfalls by crafting a strategy that's as robust as it is ambitious. The lesson here? Ideology can grab headlines, but strategy wins markets. Of course, it's not all smooth sailing. Campa Cola faces significant challenges. Breaking consumer loyalty to Coca-Cola and Pepsi is no small feat. These brands have entrenched themselves deeply in Indian culture with decades of aggressive marketing. Marketing costs are enormous, and scaling up production to meet demand is another hurdle. Then there's the question of perception. For many young Indians, Campa Cola is an unfamiliar name. Reliance will need to work hard to make it relevant to this generation. But here's where Reliance's track record comes into play. They've overcome similar challenges before. Remember how Jio faced skepticism in its early days? Look where it is now. If Reliance can apply the same innovative thinking and relentless execution to Campa Cola, these challenges could turn into opportunities. So, what does the future hold for Campa Cola? If Reliance plays its cards right, the brand could become a significant player in the Indian beverage market. Analysts predict that Campa Cola could capture a 10 to 15% market share within the next 5 years. That might not sound like much, but in a market as large as India's, that's billions of rupees. And let's not forget the global potential. If Campa Cola becomes a success story in India, what's stopping Reliance from taking it overseas? Indian diaspora communities, emerging markets in Africa and Southeast Asia, and even niche markets in the West could be prime targets. With Mukesh Ambani's vision and Reliance's resources, Campa Cola has all the ingredients for a historic comeback. The question is not just whether it can take on Coca-Cola and Pepsi, but whether it can redefine what an Indian beverage brand can achieve. So, will Campa Cola reclaim its throne and become a major player in the Indian beverage market? The odds might be stacked against it, but if there's one thing we've learned about Reliance, it's that they don't back down from a challenge. What do you think? Will Campa Cola win this battle of the beverages, or will the giants hold their ground? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, keep sipping and stay curious.